right, a very good morning to you, and you're welcome to the Mubarak edition of Good Morning Ghana. And congratulations to all our Muslim brothers and sisters who have gone through the fasting period. Difficult times indeed, but I think they have tried their best. And now it's time to feast. So we're here to feast with you. I remember yesterday, Chrissy Pratt was saying that he's just going to get crash people and say if you can get something to eat. So maybe we're going to do the same here at Metro TV. After the show, my name is Anil Frompofo, and it's the 11th of April, 2024, and we thank Almighty for giving us yet. In fact, we thank the Allah for giving us today to sit through and discuss the matters of the country. So happy Eid to all of you, those who have traveled. I know some of you have also traveled, but we wish you traveling mercies to come and join us here, back here in the country. So since the holiday, the newspapers have also gone to sleep. We're hoping that tomorrow they will resume. But some of the headlines or news-making headlines include: ignore Bawumia's tale, lie, free SHS will thrive under Mahama. And that is Dr. Apak, who is also making responses to some of the comments made by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on his campaign. In structural inequalities, cause of low growth in Africa. Structural inequalities, cause of low growth in Africa. That's by the World Bank. March inflation rises to 25.8% from 23.2% in February. I'm shocked. Mahama reacts to 22 levies, free charge for clearing goods at port. Increase efforts to becoming standalone operator, PIAC, to GMPC. Remember, their boss resigned recently, and I think their problems will just not stop. It's unending. We have a story that is also saying that fentanyl oil is actually not taking over toll. Okay. Now, NDC poses 35 questions to the EC at IPAC meeting. And Mahama is a threat to free SHS Miracles Abwaje. The MPP held a press conference about 2 days ago, also outlining and explaining some of the matters that have come up during the campaign journey and trips. Listening to also what's happening from the opposition camp and some of the comments they're making, they are responding to it, saying that Mahama is a threat to free SHS. We believe the BVRs can't be missing due to EC's stringent measures. I said in Ketia granting interview to one of the stations yesterday, also explaining why he thinks that it is very strange for such critical machines to be missing at the office of the Electoral Commission. How that is possible, he doesn't believe it. So I'm sure probably in his head he's suspecting that it is an inside job, right? All right, so 50% of Agenda 111 hospitals will be completed by end of year in Siasari, responding to performance tracker launched yesterday. And also, Kojo Oponkroma is also saying that government's performance tracker will promote transparency and accountability. And Galamsey fight, provide alternative livelihood and make it unattractive. How is this possible, right? It's a mining expert that's talking. We also have 400 acres of cocoa farms at risk of mining exploration, as mining exploration begins at Echima, Mwabieja. So cocoa farms continue to be at risk. And when we have time, we'll touch on that as well. Remember that we've played a video where Dr. Bawumia is saying that his government is not going to be burning excavators. Is that making maybe Galamsey, I don't know, mining, small-scale mining working attractive or unattractive? What exactly do we want to do as a country? We'll be getting into some of these issues when we come back after the break, and I'll introduce a guest as well. All right, you're welcome back to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana. My guests are already with me. I have Nana Fredua Oforiata, who is the board chair for the National Theatre and also a member of the MPP. Nana, you're welcome. Good morning to you. Hey.
I was asking on another TV show the other day, so next year this time, how would you introduce me?
A member of the MPP?
Next year, this time, my turn. Yeah. Interestingly, that's exactly what the NDC panelists said. The exact same thing.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't thinking along those lines. Oh, very political.
Exactly.
Very political.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Anyway, that's just
But I guess I'm not far from... Oh, I'm far.
My point was, these things, they are political positions. And so they'll pass.
But isn't it awkward? National Theatre. That one too political.
It's sad. This is your country. As you've set it up, it shouldn't be the case at all.
You've actually triggered my thoughts. I haven't thought about it that way. National Theatre.
Maybe very soon, one day down the line, institutions like that will be made autonomous in a certain way. Very. Something like how the EC operates. Yeah. You know, where when you appoint the person, the person stays there. Maybe one day. We'll see.
Oh.
For cultural institutions, I think that we should reconsider. My experience tells me we should reconsider.
But you know, I didn't really see the politics of it until you came into office. I hadn't really paid attention to...
Nobody pays attention to the National Theatre. Nobody pays attention.
We are all guilty.
Yeah.
Well, let me introduce Bujaja Mfi, who is also Deputy Director of Special Duties, the NDC. You're welcome, Bujaja. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Aja. Salamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Baka de Salah.
Baraka Kade.
Fantastic.
I'm not lost. Still around. All right, so just a quick one before we touch on the issue. Let me just remind you for Kel 360 toothpaste, which is still available on the market to take care of your whole family. And that's why it's Kel 360 toothpaste. It's recommended for the whole family and approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel 360 toothpaste provides you and the family with an all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. And Kel 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults as well. It prevents cavity with cool mint, gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. And it's also for consistency and quality. Use Kel 360 toothpaste. And it's available on all supermarkets or in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. And you can call them on 024-686-4798. Kel 360 toothpaste. It says happy smile. Now, Lift and Elevator says enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing your stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and Elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. You know, when you come to my church, you have about 3 floors. You have to climb stairs. So I'm going to recommend Lift and Elevators to my pastor, Anthony Kujo. So now we get elevators in the church. So it is simple and self-supported, and also it can lift your goods as well. It also comes with wheelchair customized. It can be fitted in your chair. So Lift and Elevators at Sakumono, or just call them on 020-535-515 or send them an email to elevators@gmail.com for consultations and best solutions in easy vertical movement. Right, let's go straight to government activities. And we've had the promise of April 10 launching of the performance tracker now come to being. Performance tracker has now been opened, and Kojo Oponkoma says that government has launched a performance tracker at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA in Accra. The platform is aimed at ensuring transparency and accountability in the execution of infrastructure projects across the country. Described as the factual, credible, and accurate, the tracker is expected to serve as a reliable mechanism for showing the progress and impact of infrastructure project, thereby instilling trust and confidence among the citizens. Speaking at the launch, Minister for Works and Housing, Kojo Pronkoma, says the government has listed some 13,000 projects tagged with their geolocation on the website. So he insists the platform will promote transparency and accountability on governments on projects across the country, which have been categorized into 22 thematic areas. The conversation on roads, you will find about 11,974.96 kilometers of road constructed and rehabilitated from 2017 to 2020. That is 158% increase over the 2009 and 2016 meter set. So job created between 2017 and June 2023, when the data was put together, a little over 2 million. So 2,087,000, and it will tell you the source of the data coming from SNIT. So SNIT is the one providing this data. For every data set that is uploaded, the source will be made available, highlighting, and I've tried it this morning. I tried, I think, on education, and it took me to the Ministry of Education, and I think, Ministry of Education. So be playing around the, the sites, and see if you can also, it's user-friendly, I think. It's user-friendly, I think you can. Government performance tracker. So let me give it to you. atin.gov.gh. So it's, no, sorry. I'm trying to open it so that all of you, sorry. It's performance tracker .gov.gh, and performance tracker is PERFORMANCETRACKER.gov.gh. So the performance tracker puts it together. Don't separate the words, all right? And then it will take you straight to the link. And I think the opening interface is education. That's number one. And then the rest is there. There's a drop link. When you click the drop link just at the top, under performance tracker, you get media, events, articles about site search and stuff like that. So just try and play around it. So it goes on to say that with the government Agenda 111 project, when you take the numbers and you add it to the previous health infrastructure that existed, by the time we're done, healthcare infrastructure would have gone up about 55.9%. 55.9%. STEM education has 5 schools completed and 5 under construction, depending on which dimension you are querying. Now, and over 5.7 million children are benefiting from the free SHS and TVET education as of June 2023, when the data was put in. He added the MPP MP for Forty Arabia also convinced that the tracker will address the misinformation, especially as the country heads to December 7 general election. And that has been, that has been some of the questions that people are asking. Is this a political gimmick, or is truly accountability and transparency that the government is pursuing?
Today, to all Muslim people, we thank them because in their prayers, they pray for the nation as well, and for all their loved ones and friends, and some of us get lucky to be included in the prayers, and so we need to celebrate them for their efforts and their commitment to their spirituality. It's important. There's some 2 people, my 2 guys, who I must always, they never forget me. Never. Ever since I've known them, they've never forgotten me. And I know that for a fact. So Mohammed, he lives in Kaswa, and Ibrahim, popularly known as Odo, he lives in Nima.
Probably known as what?
Odo.
Odo.
Yeah.
Mean love?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Very popular man. They never forget me. So, Allah be with them in their celebration today after their long effort. This tracker, I don't know whether the Ghanaian public has taken advantage of it enough. It didn't start today. This particular government, the Akufo-Addo government, has made sure that this platform will keep Ghanaians informed about what's going on. And it gives them an opportunity, or it gives us an opportunity to know what advantages we're creating for ourselves as a nation, particularly under this government and what it's been able to do in its time. It's also able to throw away any kind of skepticism about the progress we're making. And if we want our politics to progress, and yes, you talked about whether it's a political gimmick, the gimmick part of it becomes so when you want to be skeptical about what has happened. You don't want to accept that on the ground it exists. You don't want to approve or acknowledge that the Akufo-Addo government has been very progressive and developmental in its orientation and growth-oriented, I must add. So when you want to close your eyes to change that has come, that's when you're going to rate it or classify it as a gimmick. But if you want the truth, the political part of it, why not? If we want to win authority and power to continue in doing this, we need to do something for the public to see that we're doing what they've asked us to do and we're doing it well. And it is to their benefit. All these projects are not going to be wrapped up and put under somebody's armpit and taken home when the elections are over or whatever. It's for the Ghanaian people and for posterity. And so, yes, the politics of it and the opposition people will try and poo-poo it and try and say it's not. Meanwhile, they're beneficiaries of it too. And so, yes, that's there. Now, what's the primary essence of this? You used some very interesting words: transparency, accountability. Those are matters of Ghanaian political culture these days. It's been like this for the last how many decades, where people use those words, we throw them out. But how many governments put them out for people to see? How many governments do that? And this government is doing that with this tracker. It's telling us where things are, what has happened, whether it's true or not, and whether we're on track with pledges made and the use of our resources. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I break this thing down into particularly governance matters. When you want good government, what are you looking for? You want a government that is considering your social welfare. It's trying to make sure that everything about you, you're creating an environment where you, as an individual, can get into your skill, your talent, whatever it is, and grow it and live well as best as you can and as best as the system can afford you. And in order to do that, you need to have economic capacity. Economic capacity is generated. It doesn't fall from the sky. You need to do all kinds of things to make that possible. And out of that, then the general well-being builds up, because then you're going to allows people to think, allows people to do stuff. And in looking at economic development itself, you're talking about capacity. What do we have? Not capacity in basic, real capacity. What do we have? What resources do we have? In its raw state, how do we progress it? What resources do we have in its human state? How do we progress it? And that's where you look at all the things that fall under that, and you put up infrastructure for it. So you're looking at education, you're looking at health, you're looking at roads. Those are the key ones that have been highlighted. You're looking at agriculture, you're looking at all these other things, and seeing how you put in the infrastructure to create the opportunity for people to grow and develop and benefit. And so when now you go into details, and of course all of these create jobs and job opportunities. And they are created not just by the state or the government. They are also created by individuals as a result of all the infrastructure and capacity building in both human resource and in material resource. So when you've done that, then now you break it down and say, okay, like you went to check out education. That's the human resource capacity that the government is putting in. For example, STEM. This government has been very strong on STEM, made STEM a priority space within education, because a lot of people get to SHS level and then they must continue and build skill for themselves. And so you have technology, you have science, and all those things that you must do to get to that level. And those key skills, if I might call it that, in science, technology, and all that, is what leads you, it guides your choice of a profession or whatever it is that you choose to do. And so those structures have been put up. And we're saying 5 of them have been put up. 5 more these are specialized schools. 5 more have been put up. 5 more are being put up. If you want to check it out, if you want to verify, go onto the tracker, look at it for yourself. It then leads you to the site. You can go there physically and see whether it's true, how far they've gone with it, and all of that. And that should prove to you that if that's the opportunity, if it isn't you as an individual who's supposed to benefit from that directly, somebody around you. We're a very social-oriented country. We take care of our families, nuclear and extended. We take care of our nephews, nieces, you know what I'm saying. So when all of this is happening, you are able to direct people to all these places to take advantage of it. That's real. And therefore, when they tell you that this has happened, education, when they tell you that because of free SHS, we have some 5.7 million people, young people, students, who have benefited or are benefiting from it. Free SHS and TVET. Very important. What does that mean? It means for the rest of Ghana's life, you're pumping in access to real human resource to build our economic capacity, open up minds, give them skills, give them opportunities. And that's what's happening here. And so if you notice from my initial submission, I said we need to put up the infrastructure, economic infrastructure. And that's why you have the tracker, to tell you which infrastructure are being strengthened. So when you say, and you see, there's a certain angle that Ghanaians should pay attention to. The government, and if you read this, your statement you've given to us, if you read it carefully, you notice that the government doesn't say that we're the ones who have created Ghana. It says we've added on, and in a massive way, added on. In other words, they acknowledge that from independence to the time of President Akufo-Addo and his government took over, there were things being done, but to what level? And what has happened in the time that he's been in office with his government? And that's where you see that. So they'll refer to, I believe it's health, and they talk about a 55.9% increase from what was there before. And that's massive, especially when they're done with the Agenda 111 projects. That's massive as far as health infrastructure is concerned. And you see, when we talk about hospitals, it's not just going to go sit there. People are going to have jobs. You're bringing better healthcare access to the Ghanaian people across the country, not only in urban areas, across the country, not only in the major cities. That's very key. When you talk about roads, that's the one thing that people don't, we tend to see it as a luxury product, I think.
Roads?
Yes, I tend to feel that we see it as a luxury product. Oh, we need roads, we need roads. But when you look at the economics of roads, and I'm not claiming to be an expert here, so nobody should try and tag that on me, but the little study that I've done, when you look at the economics of roads, not every settlement must have a tarred or asphalted road, because the traffic on there, for all you know, there are only 5 cars a day that go up and down. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to now spend millions of cedis or dollars tying the road to that settlement simply because human beings there. But you grade it and do whatever it is so that they have access. Now, when you look at what has been...
But that would be a little debatable, because if you go to the cocoa growing areas, for example, maybe your statistics will fly there. The traffic is not that great, but because of the economic activity that happens there, you don't have a choice but to construct.
So I'm sure when you do the study, those things will pop up, and it will expose why the policy about cocoa roads was ever brought up. And it wasn't a bad idea. It was the implementation that would be a challenge for one government or the other. And we're saying, so go back there and check whether these have been taken care of or are being taken care of. Everything is going to be progressive. It's not overnight, it's progressive. So we need to appreciate all of that. And we're arguing that under the Kufuor government, over 11,000 kilometers of roads have been fixed, which means there were roads before, or created. That means new roads. So we need to keep all of that in context and recognize that, indeed, in the period of this government, quite a bit has been done. People like to say things like, no, now you have the tracker. Go and check it and juxtapose it with your socio-political interests, your whatever, socio-economic interests, whatever it is, your vision of Ghana. And I plead with people, everything is also about tomorrow. It's not only about today. And when you take countries like Singapore, it wasn't about today. It was about tomorrow. So they sustained government. They kept Lee Kuan Yew's government in office so that he would sustain his policies and push the country. And today, look at what Singapore is. And countries that have done that, when they have sustained their government, they don't just switch, but they sustain a government because the government has proven that the direction that it is taking them is the direction that will give every individual and every community the opportunity to develop themselves.
Let me ask this question about the delivery tracker. We launched the delivery tracker, which, in my opinion, maybe did not serve the purpose for which it was meant for. The delivery tracker was launched for, I think, to carry the 2016 manifesto. But the delivery tracker, I'm not sure.
Is that what it was called?
Sorry?
That's what it was called.
Yes, that's what it was called.
I just remember the tracker. I don't remember the name. Whatever.
So,
anyway,
so you
ahead.
brought the delivery tracker first, and then the performance tracker is launched yesterday. But I'm wondering, okay, so what becomes of what is the delivery tracker? What becomes of it? Are we just wasting money launching websites, putting things?
Why would you call it a waste?
Well, why not?
Why are we sitting here? This program will be over in a few hours. Is that a waste?
No.
Because we didn't stay through all day and continue till tomorrow. That's not how life works. So everything has its purpose. So if that one was for that period, now you're looking at a new period, because between then and now, you've added 4 more years in which you've done more things. And so for example, Agenda 111, when did it become an issue? 2020. 2020 brought in Agenda 111. So you cannot now say that should have fit in there, and so that one is...
But websites are meant to be upgraded and updated. You can do that. Delivery tracker, performance tracker.
Websites are project-oriented. So some people have a website for a project. When it's done, it's done. Let's be truthful and realistic about these things and factual. Some websites are project-oriented. You're providing information for a particular period, and so they work. And so it cannot be considered waste. Otherwise, we should stop doing a lot of things. You want to inform the public. You want the public to have access to information. And so it is rather for us to encourage the public to be interested in checking, because that is your citizens' rights is vested in that, in checking whether what you send the government and members of parliament, and you see, in these things, in this instance, as far as implementation is government, as far as access, you're going to find out from your member of parliament. It doesn't matter which parliamentarian, whether they've been fair to you in giving you access to this information so that you know what to do with it. So the website is important. It is not a waste of money. It is crucial that the Ghanaian people are given this information. This is a new standard set for governance in this country, where we're using technology to give access to information for people. And I think that we should take advantage of it. I think that the government's done well in putting this out. For those of us who are into communication as a profession, every time you need information, otherwise you're not in business. And for those of us who are into economic projects of one sort or the other, you want to understand whether government policy is being implemented in the sector that you have interest in, so that you can check to see whether your benefits are there and what opportunities exist for you. When this information is put out, it's not to put out just to see whether Akufo-Addo's government is doing well. You should also look at it to see what opportunities you are missing that you haven't paid attention to. That's what this is. This is information. If you look at it only as political and you add gimmick to it, wala o wala. You cannot, the country is developing. You cannot allow propaganda and things like that to infiltrate your minds and throw you back when the real issues on the ground are happening. The real things are happening on the ground. And so it's a matter of you wanting to look at things from a cup that's half full or that's half empty. When you're skeptical, you're negative, you like to buy into propaganda and all negate everything positive about things that are making Ghana great, you'll see it as half empty. When you see it as half full, you see that, look, we're progressing. We could probably do more, of course, because who wants a half full cup? You want a full cup. So obviously we need to do more. Now the question becomes, who is doing that thing? The NPP government. The NPP government is creating all these spaces and opportunities for us to have economic infrastructure that will give us opportunities to better ourselves as communities and as individuals. So it's there.
Right.
I think we thank the government for this.
Let me engage Boja as well. But people have said this is like an electronic version of the Green Book.
Well, I think that every government, when elected, is supposed to be accountable to the people. And so if government, by any means, want to display its achievements, whether through a book or through a digital platform or whatever it is, I think it's part of our governance process. But I'm more interested in what the question you asked, Nana, about what happened to the delivery tracker. Because in the lead up to the 2020 election, we saw the launch of a delivery tracker, which is to give an accumulation of government achievement over a certain period, say from 2017 to 2020. And so, I mean, we were all expecting that this delivery tracker would have been updated so that we can have one source to track everything that they're talking about. But as it has happened, they have abandoned the delivery tracker. And that is because when the delivery tracker was launched, a lot of Ghanaians went into it and started doing self-reports of where they say projects are and which projects have been completed. And many of the projects that were loaded onto the delivery tracker were non-existent. There were situations where videos were posted by private citizens on social media. People will go to the ground where the delivery tracker is reporting there's a factory, and you would actually find that there are no factories there.
Yeah, there are rodents.
Exactly. So that, for me, is not surprising that the delivery tracker has been abandoned. And this performance tracker, for me, will not last beyond a week or two, because Ghanaians are going to subject it to strict, proof. Ghanaians are going to scrutinize it. They are going to go on it on their own. Yes, of course, the opposition will have an interest, will deal with that at a later date. But citizens who live in the communities and who these projects are supposed to benefit also have a say in all of this. So they are also going to go on the tracker to trace the projects where they say they have been the project that they say they have completed and all of that. But to go more into it, I want to see that every government is accountable to the people. And so, as for accountability, no government must escape that. The people must have the right to know what you have used the resources to do. And so, that, for me, is what the citizens are interested in. So when you come up with some of these platforms, load onto it projects that you claim you have done, you may think that from the launch of it, you are being accountable. But it is when the people subject it to cross-check and to verify that these projects really exist. That is when I think the government will be exposed. But one issue about accountability that I have been very surprised that this government has run away from is the president's engagement with the media. Because note that this performance tracker, sometimes if you have questions to ask, it becomes very difficult who you would get face-to-face to ask questions and pin ministers and government officials to answer some
recall,
of these things.
unless I'm wrong, I recall it was one of the promises of Nana Addo.
Exactly.
To meet with the media.
Yes, since 2019, he's never done that. Since 2019.
I think he did one or two and he didn't like it.
Yes. Since 2019. And so that for me, tells who the president is. Because you know that the engagement with the media was one of the things that President Kufuor touted a lot as opening up the castle for media persons to come and ask questions, put the president on the spot to answer. Akufo-Addo decided to tweak that a little bit. Some of the questions he even will pass it on to a minister to come and answer. And also, when people started criticizing him, and if you have observed the president very well, he's good when there's no body before him asking him probing questions. When he has to read the script and go away, you would see that his prowess of, churning out words and speaking fast and, his accent will come. But when he has to be put on the spot, ask questions for him, ask questions. No, it's important because for me, all of these things are part of accountability. You get it. When the media gets opportunity to ask you that, look, you said that you were going to construct concrete roads. Mr. President, we have checked the performance tracker. We can't find any concrete road. What happened? Then you would notice that the issue of accountability is really, really coming home. But when you go to launch a website and then everybody goes to sleep, we are asking questions, nobody is there to answer and all of then the accountability for me is not complete.
Lost on. So what this is practically saying is that go onto the website, look at the projects, it gives you the source, go physically and go and check yourself.
Whether it is there or not.
If you have any question,
who are you going to ask?
Who do you go to? Okay.
I have gone onto the tracker and I went to Ashanti region to check Agenda 111. And you'd notice that Honorable Kojo Opon-Nkrumah was emphasizing on Agenda 111 and trying to create some statistics. I mean, imaginary statistics.
We're told that 50
exist.
of the hospitals will be ready by end of this year.
That's not correct. That's not correct. So you go on the tracker, and then you go to Ashanti Region Agenda 111. They have posted 11 Agenda 111 projects, 16 Agenda 111 projects there. Now, if you check the 16 projects, you would notice that about 9 of the 16 are under 50% completion as a status. 9 out of the 16. Now, if you check out of the 9, 4 of them is at 0%. So why do you put them on the tracker? They are talking about performance tracker.
What
and then you go and load
0%?
You have to be asking them. So you go and load projects and write 0%, which means the project has no status, you know. And then you see some of the projects at 8%, 37.7%. In fact, those that are above 50% in terms of completion are only 6 in the Ashanti region. There are only 6 out of the 16 that has been put on the tracker. And so if you tell me that this is we should go and track your performance by going to the site to see 0, percent projects loaded on this performance tracker, we are wasting our time. And remember that when we came up with the Green Book, President Akufo-Addo said that it was full of fantasies. At least there was no project in the Green Book that was labeled as 0% in the Green Book. No project. Most of the projects that were listed in the Green Book were completed, commissioned projects that had been undertaken by the NDC government. If you check the Pond Water Project, the Teshi Desalination Project, such a huge project, you know. If you check the 3K, the Kumau, Konongo, Kwahu Water Project, these were huge, huge projects. On the contrary, if you go on this tracker, you would find boreholes, you know, mundane district-level projects that some have been undertaken by the levies collected, the internally generated funds of the district. All of these projects have been loaded onto the tracker. So, for me...
Because I think at some point of the tracker, it also breaks down what has been achieved by ministers. I'm sure there should be a part where it tells you what has been done by local assembly, maybe. I don't know. But it also gives you achievements of ministers.
So you see, when you talk about, in governance, generally, when you talk about the achievement of government as the executive, people want to see very significant, huge projects that makes impact in the lives of the people. If we want to be labeling projects that are done at the district level with internally generated funds, I mean, we must be serious.
When you say internally generated funds, how do you mean? Because some of the projects,
if you go to a district,
the level of beneficiary is very subjective.
Let's say the Nungwa district, where they collect tools from the market. These tools from the market, and then they use it to construct a borehole for a community. Then Kojo Opon Nkrumah carries a camera to go and take a picture of it and load it onto the track and say, this is government achievement. We must be serious. I mean, this must be... And for me, it's... If you study if you watch the interview of the Ashanti regional minister, when he was asked to mention 10 significant projects in Ashanti region, the first project he mentioned was a project done by the Rebecca Foundation. Rebecca Foundation. That project was led by the media. I remember, I think multimedia
with donated
raising funds from all of us to go and construct that maternity block. And as a minister for 7 to 8 years, when you are asked to mention huge or significant government projects, the first project that comes in mind is a project undertaken by a foundation, an NGO. Madam Lordina Mahama, the wife of former President Mahama, has been constructing a lot of health facilities. Recently, she opened one in the Boli district. You won't find that in an NDC list of achievements.
Why?
Because we are dealing with serious projects. When we say that
I think you should add it too.
When we say that we have done well, we mean to say that the taxes we collected from the people, the loans we contracted, the revenues we got from our oil production, the grants that were given to us by multilaterals or other international organizations, put all of them together, this is what we have been able to achieve. And so we tell you that we took a loan facility of $100 million to construct the first phase of Nkrumah interchange. Then you know that monies have been put to use. If we tell you that some of the loans we contracted were for the Pokuasi interchange, for the Obechebi Lamte interchange, and for the Tema motorway expansion project, then you would know that we actually borrowed, we actually raised revenue in order to undertake all of these projects. So that is what we want to see. And we will measure this government by the amount of money, revenues that they have received over the 8-year period. And that's unprecedented. No government come close to Nana Akufo-Addo. He's been the luckiest president ever in terms of revenue generation. It was his time that COVID alone gave him over 21 billion Ghana cedis. And we cannot tell what we have used those monies for. It is his time that our debt profile has increased from 120 billion to over 600 billion, an addition of close to 500 billion Ghana cedis. And President Akufo-Addo cannot tell us major significant projects that has made impact in the economy. If we constructed the Terminal 3 project, which is by far one of the best terminals on the continent, if we took loan from China to construct the gas processing plant in Atuabo, which has created employment, which is saving Ghana a lot of foreign exchange that we would have used to import gas into this country, then you would notice that, look, we have really invested these funds. If you go and check on the tracker and point on factories, you know they have various headings. If you check on the factories, you would notice that all of the factories, I don't know a single one, that is fully 100% government-funded factory. I can't point to one.
Primarily
private sector factories, some of whom had already constructed their factories, they were working, they needed monies for expansion.
But government already
some of them government only.
The one district, one factory policy is supposed to be a PPP agreement.
It doesn't matter the objective.
So if it reports on some of the factories that are private sector factories, and then it has been able to revive or support it to revive. I mean,
so you cannot tell us that. You cannot tell us that the 500 billion you have added to our debt portfolio, you can't point to us one factory built by government.
Okay.
And if less than 120 billion, NDC can point to the Atuabo gas processing factory. NDC can point to the Commander Sugar factory. NDC can point to the Share Butter factory in the Savannah region. So it's not just about the objective. It's about what you have used the money to achieve. That is what we want to really see as your performance. But generally, I would say that how would this performance tracker deal with Dumso? So, for example, if you want to go on the performance tracker, this morning,
I haven't seen anything on energy.
You woke up, there's energy there. You can see that they said they have increased access to electricity from 81% to 86% or so, just 5% within 8 years. If you check the rate, you would find that per annum they were doing 0.8, while the NDC was doing 3%. From 2009 to 2016, when we left office, we had increased our access to electricity from below 60% to 80%. And if you break it down, you'd find that we're doing an annual rate of 3%. So even with what you have reported, you would see that the NDC has a superior record. But check on the tracker. you are an allergy. You are Amaria. You want to go for Eid prayers this morning. You woke up, your light is off. You can't iron your jalabia to go. And then they tell you to go and check the tracker. What would that tracker do for you? And you check the tracker, you cannot see any performance of the NPP in terms of energy. No serious indicator to even tell you what they have done in terms of our energy sector. They have not added a single megawatt of electricity generation to our installed capacity as we have. They have not done. They have used ESLA to go for a loan and collateralize it for more than 15 years. They can't have money to pay for fuel for our thermal plants. So what's the performance about?
So I'm on the Ministry of Energy, and I think the first interface, well, I went to the
performance tracker.
Performance tracker ministries. Then I clicked on the Ministry of Energy. The first page of the Ministry of Energy performance tracker is clean environment. So government is, advancing on the clean environment policy. And what I see is distribution of improved cooked stoves. That is 97,253. Improved charcoal cooked stove distributed for clean cooking since 2018.
You see,
what's that? Is that something that you were also doing?
Of course, under the NDC. You know about energy conservation and how to move away and deal with climate change. Yes. I mean, districts were giving stove and gas cylinders to...
So this policy is decentralized?
Of course, it goes to the district.
To the district.
And so it's not a new policy by the NPP government.
And you did that?
Yes. Yes.
But it's not in the Green Book.
Of course, that's why I'm saying that the Green Book is dealing with serious, significant projects. The districts are also mandated to talk about their achievements.
Because this is very new to me.
Oh, yes, okay, of course. Because we were not too... We were interested in dealing with... I mean, if you want to account for the monies you have, you cannot do that extensively. And so what you really do is to concentrate on projects that can reflect the amount of money that you have collected from the people. But on the point that I was making, this performance tracker cannot deal with unemployment. Ghanaians want jobs. People are crying that they cannot get jobs to do. How is this performance tracker able to deal with it? The number of people who are falling below the poverty line in the country today, how is this performance tracker going to deal with it? How is this performance tracker going to reduce the e-levy tax or even abolish it?
Okay.
How is it going to remove the betting tax and allow boys to have their own space and enjoy the benefits they have from betting? So this performance tracker is not dealing with any problems, any of the problems that we have currently. And so for me, we should put the performance tracker aside and go back to the basics. Government must address the problems that faces this country. They cannot run away from it. President Akufo-Addo and Mahamudu Bawumia cannot postpone their responsibilities and tell us that even though you are paying for e-levy today, when you vote for us in 2025, we are going to scrap it. Scrap it now. We want to see a tracker that deals with removing taxes, a tracker that deals with creating employment for people to do, a tracker that will give us a solution to the businesses that have collapsed and those that are on their way collapsing. That is what we want to see. And that is what is going to be the basis for Ghanaians to vote. We are not going to be hoodwinked by these creation of digital platforms, populate it with non-existent projects and write projects that are 0%, even on all of on these digital platforms.
Right.
So the bottom line is that we are going into an election. We are going to measure you on how much you have received and what you have used the monies for. We are going to measure you on the number of businesses that have been collapsing, those that have collapsed, the poverty in this country, the corruption, the unemployment. These are the issues that are going to drive the minds of the people. Right. Against the very fantastic ideas that President Mahama is bringing up. For example, the 24-hour economic policy that is going to address the issues of job. Because if we have a three-shift system where people can work in the morning, can work in the afternoon or during the day, and can work over the night, as GUTA has endorsed it, TUC has endorsed it, that is what is going to address the unemployment issue. And that is what Ghanaians are going to base on to vote. And many of the polls that have come points to that direction, that Ghanaians have accepted the 24-hour economic policy compared to any other that has been espoused by any of the presidential candidates.
So the top issues today have to do with energy, of course, and employment. And on the tracker, as I indicated earlier, I'm on the Ministry of Energy. So we have the distribution of improved cook stoves. We have distribution of solar lanterns, 11,692. The improved cook stove is 97,253. My question is, okay, so if I want to find out who has benefited from this improved cook stove, what am I supposed to do? Go to their homes and check? And how do I get access to their homes and say I'm using the government's tracker to come and track if you truly benefited from the cooked, improved cook stove?
Interesting thing about these stoves. These were the stoves they were distributing during the Baumia elections. The DCs, they were giving it to the
Baumia elections. What's
yes,
Baumia
the presidential primaries.
But that's not Baumia elections.
Oh, that was his elections.
No.
I mean, the entire government was for him. Anyway,
if they say the thing about Mama, you won't like it.
The NPP presidential elections, these stoves were given to delegates by the DCs.
So is it a government project or is it a party
Yes, they will tell
project?
you that the NPP members are also Ghanaians.
Okay, so actually this question, I'm just directing it to Nana. So we have the ECG Power App 1, of course, Digital Retail Fuel Monitoring System 1. So the Digital Fuel Monitoring System launched by National Petroleum Authority in 2021. And then we have the electricity distribution. Communities connected to electricity distribution from 2017 to 2022 is 2,329. Electricity access rate percentage is 5.51% increase compared to 2016. And,
for 8 years.
Yes. Then the national electricity access, okay, that's here. I don't think that's an achievement, is it?
National electricity
access, is that an achievement?
I mean, if government is extending electricity to those that do not have, I think yes, but it must be significant. You can't tell me that you have done 5% over a period of 8 years. This is,
I mean, if you write the national electricity access and it's 27,949,509, that is the people connected to electricity nationwide.
Yes.
As of 2022. But that's not an achievement of government. That is an add-on.
Yes, now he's talking about the overall access.
Overall access.
Yes, but if you want to disintegrate that and look at their contribution, that's what they say, 5%.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Compared to about 20% done by the NDC. Over the same
Another point I'm kind of interested in is the gold for oil policy. It says gold for oil policy on fuel price. 45.3% reduction of ex-pump price of petroleum products as at December. So how do I check? Okay, as a Ghanaian, I'm reading this performance tracker and I want to check. I want to confirm this. What do I do to do the calculation and check? I have to go to the Ministry of Finance. So it gives the source as Ministry of Finance. So you click on the source and it will take you to the Ministry of Finance. That's for gold for oil.
Adrian, you don't even have to check. The cost of fuel today is 70 cedis per gallon.
Yes.
Compared to 14 cedis in 2016. So what are you comparing? You are comparing your own record and saying that at a point we increase it so much and at another point a certain policy reduce it marginally.
Well, but it's telling you what gold for oil policy did to the prices.
To correct their own incompetence. That's what they are saying. Effectively.
Well, no, to correct the challenges that we face brought in by Russia and Ukraine war.
And let's be serious.
I'm very, very serious. I mean, percentage of contribution to gold for oil policy. Oil stock purchased through gold for oil since February 2023. So these are all some details, and now you have some one or two responses before I take a break.
One or two.
Yes.
Between the two of you, you've bantered on negatives all throughout this period that you've
I've asked questions, and he had responded.
And you said some very strange things, Annie. I was
Like?
surprised. Because the point about the tracker is for people like you who are in the media to ask those who are in charge so that they give you the details. You don't ask Broja Jenfi.
No, but
You
the
want to
tracker is
ask
not-
Broja
no,
Jenfi
but the
about
tracker-
energy policy?
No, but that's not fair.
The tracker
Because-
gives you information. If you want to ask questions, you don't ask the tracker.
No, Nana, the tracker is made in such a way that everybody has access. It's not just for the media.
Yes.
The media, we will do our job.
Yes,
Like I'm
I'm
sitting here
talking
doing.
about you.
Right.
I'm saying that the questions you've been raising here and asking Broja to answer, how? How does Broja answer an energy question about a question about gold for oil, and you expect him to give you a positive, true answer?
That's why you're here.
No, I'm not the energy minister. I'm not a specialist in it. That's why you go there, and then you go to those relevant. You're the journalist, though. If he and I were on the streets at a bar, and this banter was going on, and I was trying to respond to him, that's fine. You're talking to thousands of people. This your thing goes on a recording, and it stays on forever. So you, as a journalist, you don't do that. You don't do us any favors when you do that. The reality about how can Broja Jenfi, and I have to slow down. Broja Jenfi tells us that the performance tracker should be eliminating e-levy, a government policy signed on by Parliament, and a website should erase it. And you didn't query him about it.
In fact,
That's what
that
he
escaped
said.
me.
No,
You
but-
see, and I'm saying,
Did
when
say-
you were talking,
hold
I
on.
kept so
Did you
quiet.
say-
I'm sure
Did you
viewers thought
say
I'd left
e-levy
the
should
studio.
be removed from the...
Why are you asking him?
When-
you should check your own recording. I don't understand
Dr.
why.
Bawumia-
Why are you
I'm
verifying
coming.
what he said?
When Dr. Bawumia says that he will remove
can't believe
e-levy
this.
in 2025, is
Yeah.
he Parliament?
Yes, but the government has
He's
introduced
government
something.
when he gets elected.
So that's the point I'm making.
And this is
No,
government
that's not what you
performance.
That I
said.
want
You
to-
said that
I'm
the
saying
performance.
that how
you
is
see,
the
Annie,
performance
you see what
tracker
you have done.
going to
I'm saying
reduce
that I
e-levy?
sat here
That's what I
quietly
mean.
and listened to you, the two of you banter, and you were doing things that did not favor
You seem to be
Ghanaians in
inviting
any way.
me anyway.
Why? When you were talking, you think you weren't inviting me when you were giving inaccurate statements.
you go
when
on.
somebody tells you that this is an information platform,
You go on. I'll
and
have a right
and it's
to
factual to
respond
tell
to
you
it,
that
so.
you gave Nana Fredia water, he didn't touch it. That's 0% usage. Is it not a fact? Should it not be told? If you now go and query and say, why didn't you drink it? Is it not you seeking accountability? Is it not about transparency? So the fact that it hasn't been done doesn't mean it shouldn't be told. It's a matter of fact. It's human.
So,
it's government
I,
resources.
as a journalist,
it's state
I
resources.
should be able to
so
see.
we
Okay,
cannot sit.
I've seen
Let
0%.
Let me flow because
Nana,
you
Nana.
had all the thing
Nana,
and you
Nana,
didn't
Nana.
ask him
It
any
was the same
questions.
thing I was doing
And it
with
is
him.
a ridiculous statement to say that because nothing has been done, it shouldn't be
captured.
stated.
No, but it was
How?
the same thing I was doing with him. I'm saying that.
No, it's not the same thing. You didn't ask him why he thinks
by-
that when the thing says
I'm
0,
saying
it
that
shouldn't be
by
posted.
What you're saying. So as a journalist,
What is
once
this?
I've
What
gone-
kind of country do we
once-
want when we do this
Hold
type
on,
of
hold
thing?
on. So
You have
once
an opportunity to
Nana,
tell the
hold
truth
on.
to
Nana,
Ghanaians,
Nana,
be
hold on.
factual about things. Akufo-Addo didn't say he's God. His government has not claimed to be a perfect government. What we have sought to prove to everybody is that we are a better government. Better does not mean maximum. So when you've put out information like this, if you listen to him closely, he has not been able to tell you that the government has failed.
Hey.
He has not. He has tried, but he has not been able to prove it. In fact, he has created all kinds of very strange conversations. And one of them is, if I'm telling you that I will be able to do this, and in some instances I haven't done it, and I'm telling you I haven't done it, it's a shame. Oh, what is accountability about? And then you say something like, e-levy should be wiped out by a website. E-levy, a legal policy. When we say legal, it has gone through the processes and endorsed by the people through Parliament. It's a legal policy. And somebody should, a website, when somebody types in, I don't like e-levy, then e-levy should vanish.
Okay.
I mean, how are we treating Ghanaians when we get opportunities like this to speak? What are we talking about? And Terminal 3 and the gas plant. Who has said that those things were not good for Ghana? Who has said it? The question is, how many Ghanaians benefit from Terminal 3 compared to free SHS? How many Ghanaians benefit from the gas plant compared to free SHS alone? And continuous. You see, what kind of Ghana
How do you mean with that comparison?
Yeah, I'm saying how many people go on an airplane? Mm-hmm. How many people? When you go to Terminal 3, how many people are flying? And what's the total impact? Is that making Ghana? As opposed to building the human resource we're talking about. People getting skills, go for TVET, free SHS, free TVET. What's the don't you see the value in building people?
Mm-hmm. So,
you don't see
so you're
that
saying
value.
that the value of free
You
SHS
cannot compare the value of building people to putting up an airport terminal that only a handful of people can use.
Oh, but
that's what?
That's a strange comparison.
But that's what he said. You sat here and listened.
Because the classes...
He said it too, I didn't. And I'm saying you sat here and listened. Mm. Yes, he said it. You sat here and listened. I'm the one. I'm now raising it for you to bring to your attention what you allowed to pass.
When he talked about the Terminal 3,
yeah. He told us that he said that the government hasn't done anything. All of this is a political gimmick, like people. And then he used this as their achievement to prove that they did better. And I'm saying that, do you now compare that to free SHS and tell me that free SHS, which reaches every family home in this country, every family home in this country, once there's a student going through senior high school or a TVET system, is benefiting from the policy. That one. This is a terminal where if you can't buy a ticket, you can't use it. Eh?
All right.
You know, and then, Annie, I kept so quiet. So quiet. When I've started now punching your things, you want to take breaks and you want to ask project questions in my time and all that. Listen to me.
Why are you being unfair?
Unfair?
You're being unfair.
Me, I'm being unfair.
Let me tell you why.
Okay, I'll stop.
You had a chance.
Go ahead.
You spoke.
Go ahead.
And he had a chance. He spoke. You are taking a second chance, which I'm not going to give him.
Why not?
So I'm not going to give him.
Why not? No, I want you to give it to him. I want you to, media, I'll even plead for him. Please, give him. You've created a situation. No, I agree. I'm not afraid about that. This is not a... You see, we need to allow our politics to go into serious business. Because I don't want to leave this earth and not think that my children and their contemporaries in the future have nothing. I know what I came to meet as a human being. I know what Ghana can do. When a government like Akufo-Addo's government achieves things like this, you don't come and sit on air and say that a website should erase a tax. Hey, what are we talking about?
All right.
And then we allow it to pass. It's a comment. It's politics. Oh. You go for a break and come back.
Let me take a break. I'm actually under pressure.
When you make me finish, then you let him speak too.
I'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana. I'm still in the studio with Nana Fredo Furiata and also Buja Jemfi, who is also the Deputy Director in charge of Special Duties at the NDC. Nana Fredo is also a member of the MPP, asking me how I'll introduce him next year, God willing. I wish that I would still introduce you as chairman, a board chair.
Be chairman forever.
Well, as long as you can work.
According to the law, you can't do it more than 2 terms. This is my 2nd term.
Oh, really?
Yeah. According to the law governing the theater.
The theater.
Yeah, you can't be chairman for more.
Any reason behind that?
You can't be director. You can't be a board member for more than 2 terms. Unless you represent an institution or something, but it's that technical.
I think one day we will have to. Nanaya and her team will have to discuss this issue. So a Game Park Game Limited is also available. It says that if you want to make some moolah Remember that Who's Got the Moolah Got the Power, and Ghana's newest lottery game is drawing on Adom TV 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily. Now you can pick up your phones and tablets and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website. It's www.gameparkgames.com or dial *946# on all networks. So choose from the number 0 to 9, and it's easy to play, easy to win. So Game Park Games is also regulated by the National Lotteries Authority, so it's not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Betway Cash Outs also says Ayesoko, and Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com. Terms and conditions apply, regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is also available on the market. It's been on the market for 20 years, right? And it provides or contains nutrients including vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried and is indeed the best on the market. Contact them for bulk purchase on Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000 for Blue Jeans Energy Drink. Dana, I'll allow you to land and then
thank you.
A few. I'll give you 2 minutes.
I'm grateful that you allow me to.
Yes, I will.
The working word being allow, and I'm grateful that you'll allow Broja to also have a chance. It must be noted that I supported the fact that he should speak as well.
Yeah.
It's important.
Thank you.
I'm following in the steps of President Akufo-Addo. Remember that debate when he fought for it? Yeah.
Let me tell you what someone says that. Good morning, Annie. Please, I want to clear something about the tracker. It's captured that road from Nasia, or is it Nasia or Nasia, to Janga has been tarred. Has been tarred.
Right.
Please, this is not true. You can call me to clarify it.
Good.
Someone wants to make an... Okay.
So it's going to come up in the coming weeks.
It will be coming up, right?
That is the value. That is the value of this. So you see, did you hear what he said? It will discredit it. That is not the value of it. The value of it is for you to verify. And when you see, you ask, this goes into the next point I wanted. You ask the question, who do you ask? That's not the question to ask as a journalist. But ask the public, yes. And I'm saying...
Oh, I mean, I was not referring to myself. I speak for the people.
Well, then, but you should be able to tell the public that that's why the MCs and DCs and others were at the tracking event. That's why they were there, because they are the local representatives of the president and the government. That's why you go to them. You should ask your assembly member what he or she has done to make sure that some of these things have happened. Did they have a role? If they didn't, who did? You go and ask that person. Where did it come from? That's the point. And talking about Akufo-Addo should have been part of the tracker. Are you serious? That the president should have been there because he doesn't meet the press, and therefore he should have been on the tracker. Hey, that's number 2 ridicule right there. The first ridicule was e-levy must be raised by the tracker. Second one, the tracker must have proof that President Akufo-Addo speaks to the press. He has delegated. You see, that the thing about democracy and the thing that we must all learn is that the system is created so that there's delegation of authority. That is why he has ministers. That is why he has deputy ministers. That is why he appoints MCs. Remember when he asked us, the Ghanaian public, that we should elect our own MCs and DCs.
Meet the press.
The NDC and people pooped it.
The Meet the Press series at the Ministry of Information. It's something that every president, every government has engaged in at the Ministry of Information. Nana Addo made a specific promise.
Not every president under the Fourth Republic. Some presidents.
Meet the Press series at the Ministry of Information.
Yes.
It happens under every government.
You said every president.
No, I said it happens under every government.
So this government has done it. This government does it.
So I'm saying
what are you saying?
Yeah, so his direct assurance and promise that I will meet as the president, that is something that you should account to us. Have you been able to achieve that?
No, it's not a performance tracker. And the next thing is, what's that got to do with the Meet the Press at the Ministry of Information?
You're saying that they should delegate authority. I'm saying that happens already.
And that's where you go for information. I'm answering your question, who do you ask? That's where you go for information. Because he has delegated, let's do roads minister, roads department, blah, 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 down to the municipality or the district, what's happening there. So if this person about Nasir says it's not true, you go there and find out. Go to Techimentia and find out if it has happened. Go to all these other places where they are very ready to publicly state how impressed they are about us. So let's not act as if they aren't people to ask. As far as I'm concerned, if you go to some DC or MC and they can't answer questions, they have a responsibility to you to show why they couldn't answer that question.
Right.
It is their responsibility to make sure that everything on the tracker is answerable. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. And this matter of trying to ridicule Akufo-Addo and he's good at reading blah blah blah. Really, like, who fought for press freedom in this country? Was it Mr. Mahama? Was it Mr. Mahama? Mr. President Akufo-Addo, he owned a newspaper and fought for people to have press freedom. So let's not even get in there. Now, I don't know why in the beginning, when he started the state, I think he was looking for ways to settle into the conversation. So he started with your delivery tracker. Irrelevant. Delivery tracker. When you raised it, I thought it was relevant. When he raised it, I found it very relevant. Why was that interesting to him? Because he was looking for ways to begin his propaganda and things like that. It doesn't sit. Here are the real issues. His comments, and therefore the NDC's opinion about governance in this country, has been revealed by his statements this morning. Very revealing about how they don't really have a plan for Ghana. One, when they propose something like that, look, in my company where I work, some 40 years ago, we were selling in the night at dawn. 40 years ago. Then their president, the PNDC came, AFIC, then PNDC came, and they shut those opportunities down. Then slowly, the fight for democracy and things brought those things back. You know how many companies in this country operate 24 hours? Plenty already. It is in fact certain, some of their certain inept decisions and policies that have put a lot of people out, and now they're reviving it again. They're reviving it again. A lot of industries have come into this country now, a lot, including all those car companies that are coming. Do you know that Ghana used to produce different types of vehicles, from motorcycles to pickups to buses to vans? This is it LT they call it? These vans that have become trotro, Mercedes vans that are
204.
Yeah, 207.
207
Good.
buses. Okay.
We were producing them. They were called Adom in Ghana. We had a Thomas motorbike. There was the antecedents. They came and shut those things down and started selling them. The revelations, let's not go there. So when we want to talk about managing an economy, when you set up the infrastructure, the 24-hour thing they are talking about, if I'm running a food produce company and I want to bring in food from Techimentia to Accra to process, if the roads are not done properly, go and ask the Techimentia people the difference between yesterday and today. If the roads are not done properly, how do I transport
do you know this
my
argument,
stuff
the same
and
argument that was
good,
being done about free SHS?
Which is
build the schools, have them have access before you allow
it's not the same.
cram all the children.
It's not the same. They're two different things. Getting children to school should not wait for buildings. Otherwise, our forebears who sat under trees would not have gotten an education. Well, you see, you cannot straitjacket our lives.
Okay.
You cannot straitjacket our lives. The bottom line about this, there's so many things one would say about the utterances this morning from the other side. The bottom line about this, I'm pleading with Ghanaians. Let's not straitjacket our thinking. When you go on the tracker, it is for you to see the things. Like this person saw in Nasser. If you are not satisfied, there are people you can go and query. The thing is, it's to bring back feedback into the system. And that's where we should find out. How do we get feedback into the system? And if there's a way, you do it. I haven't gone on the tracker yet, so I don't know. For all you know, there's a feedback opportunity there where you can say, when I went to the DCE, he couldn't answer my questions. He didn't even give me time. Let's report those things so that we can, because this information is for the people.
Roger? Briefly,
it is not the negatives.
I want to ask you about
everything is not good.
Your issue with the EC on the machines that you are complaining about. So
yes, but this issue too is equally important. I'm very surprised Nane's reaction to some of the issues I raised. For me, it's unfortunate that he has a narrow understanding of what I actually wanted to communicate. What I am saying is that Ghanaians want to see the performance of your government. We want to have a feel. We want to see your policies impact on our lives. We want to see the abolishment of the e-levy. That's what we want to see. And so we want to see it in your performance tracker that e-levy has been abolished.
How? Oh, no. You can't have it that way.
You're still repeating this.
How can't we have it?
Because it's still in use.
So I am saying that, please, listen to me. So I am saying that government must abolish the e-levy and put it in the... Nana, please, you don't tell me how I make my point. Please.
It won't happen.
Yes, I mean, you have to respect my views also.
Yeah.
So when you say it won't happen...
It won't happen.
We put you in government. We have the right to ask you questions.
It is not the performance
when you say it won't happen, it's a display of arrogance to the sentiments of Ghanaians.
Who has said that he should like
What we are saying is that you made promises and you continue to make promises. Nana, please. When you were speaking and I tried to interject, you asked me to shut up.
No, I didn't ask you to shut up. That would be very rude. I don't talk like that. So don't say.
You just said that it won't happen.
When you use, I'm talking about those two words.
It is the same. It has the same effect. You said it won't happen.
No.
What I am saying is that
it won't happen.
Your presidential candidate is promising the people of Ghana that his government has introduced e-levy. When his government's tenure ends in 2025 and his government comes to office in 2025, he will abolish e-levy. And I am saying that, why can't you abolish the e-levy now so that we can see it in your tracker? We can track that, yes, e-levy has been abolished. That's the point I am making.
Now you have to polish your words.
Please, Nana, please.
You are polishing your words.
And when I say that President Akufo-Addo should avail himself for the Ghanaian media to subject some of these things to strict proof, what I mean is that he promised that he was going to be accessible and available to the media 24/7. Since 2019, this media engagement at the Flagstaff House or at the Castle, whatever it is, has not come on. And I am saying that it is one of the tools that the Ghanaian people through the media can subject the president to accountability. So it is not just the publication or the launch of a tracker that will tell us that the government is being accountable. So that's what I mean in that context. Now, if you say that zero status on Agenda 111
in the bottom part
is good to be on the performance tracker, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You want to track your performance. Is that not so? And so if you think that every promise you made, you need to report on it, then we want to see all the failed promises on the performance tracker. Exactly.
And then when
Nana, please. Why did you report? So I am saying that you are being deceptive.
Somebody has told you that.
You are being deceptive.
This aspect of
when you report, Nana, please.
You say, why did you put
when
it
you report that Agenda 111,
what kind of contradiction in terms is that?
Status, 0% status. We want to see the 350 SHS that you promised to construct. We want to see it in the performance tracker. So that you put all of them 0%.
So you're saying that be consistent. The 0%.
Yes, because you want to deceive us, Nana.
That's not what he said before. Now he's changing his mind.
We want to see. I mentioned that if you go on the tracker, you cannot see the construction of concrete roads.
I think we don't listen.
We want to see that when you go to the Ministry of Roads under roads construction, we want to see concrete roads status 0%. That's what we want to see on the tracker. We want to see the Odona Recreational Center. When President Akufo-Addo carried the media to the circle Odona. And the man was there, if you watch the video, very interesting. The man was there showing us where the hotel will be located, where people can enter the pool, where it would be a recreational center. You have seen that video.
The Odona Recreational Center, was it captured in the manifesto?
It doesn't matter. President Akufo-Addo carried the media people to the place.
I'm asking that because
I don't have them. I don't meet. They said that they were going to. They said that they were going to.
Is not
they were going to. They were going to develop the Kole Lagoon.
Yes.
To the extent that you could even go and fish from the Kole Lagoon. We want to see that on the tracker and say 0% status. If you cannot do that, you cannot be picking and choosing and populating the tracker
with things that you have
done. That you have not done. That you have not done. When you say 0%, you have not done it. Yeah. That's the context I want to.
What about the ones we have done?
Now, about the projects that they are appropriating, projects that belong to the NDC. There are many of them. Somebody sent you a message about it. I have seen somebody post an administrative block at the Anumabo Fisheries School, which was built by the NDC, which is in the tracker. Just give Ghanaian people a matter of 1 week.
Right.
This performance tracker will be discredited. Just to finish on the point of the 24-hour economic policy, let me say it here and now, that there's no 24-hour economic policy being implemented in Ghana. It's never happened in Ghana before. Nobody can tell us that because a chop bar operates up to midnight, that is a 24-hour economic policy. It means that they do not understand the policy that President Mahama wants to introduce.
Because it's difficult
Government
to
has not offered Government has not offered reduced electricity tariff for any company or industry
or tax incentive
to operate
you reduce
a three-shift system. Government has not given financial support to any company to operate a three-shift system. And government has not offered any tax incentive or tax reliefs for any company or business to operate a three-shift system. What President Mahama wants to introduce in 2025 is something that has never happened to this country. It is a deliberate, conscious policy to ensure that businesses employ more hands and the cost of production reduces, and we increase production in order to meet the needs of the people, so that we can also substitute certain products that we import into this country. This is what the 24-hour economic policy is about. It is not about a chop bar operating midnight. In fact, when businesses join the 24-hour economic policy and they begin to operate a three-shift system such that even at dawn they are operating, food vendors will automatically come on board, because when they make themselves available to sell, there will be persons available to buy. That is what the policy is about. And so they do not understand the policy and the waves that this policy is making in the political system currently. They are worried. And in fact, they are dazed about it. So they try to find every means to discredit it. But it does not stick. The polls have reflected that Ghanaians have accepted this policy.
Okay. Mansa Musa from UK is asking Nana Fredia a question. You know, you said, but you are not the minister or something like that. So Mansa Musa says, so what are you doing on the program
I have one
if you don't have answers?
He's
the
the board chairman for National Theatre, right?
And you have
the MPP promised that they are going to build. They are going to build one theatre in each region, starting from Takoradi, Tamale, and Kumasi. Report to us, the tracker, performance tracker.
Okay, we'll go on there and put it there. Now, why?
You can't tell us here.
No. I'm not
Is that you put it on the tracker?
I put it on the tracker.
You know,
that tracker where you
the
want...
tracker you have already launched.
There's 0% that you want.
And they will put 0% on the tracker.
You want e-levy to be raised on that tracker. Go there and find out about the theatre. And you want the Akufo-Addo's voice on the tracker. So go there.
Nana, let me remind you.
I'm surprised that you read Mansa Musa's question to me and to the public. I'm surprised. Do you invite ministers here alone?
No.
Is he a minister? No. So why?
What he's saying is that...
No, what are you saying? Because why would you raise the point he raises?
As a viewer,
is saying is that if he's watching you, he knows that I've invited you because I know that you have answers to certain questions. Right. So if he's watching as a viewer, he expects that you are able to provide certain answers. But if you say that, but I'm not a minister, he will be lost as a viewer. That's why he's also asking. I think it's fair.
No,
I mean, when you said that, I was pricked, but I didn't want to interject. So
you see, let's stop pretending and creating all kinds of impressions. Is he?
You are in charge of National Theatre. Tell us about the one
Mr. Mahama's deputy or something?
No.
Why? Why are we doing this to ourselves? You don't bring ministers here on these topics.
Nana, can we deal with the theatre?
Broja?
One theatre.
Nana, ignore him. I ignore Broja.
No, it's not about. It's not about ignoring him. It's about focusing. Broja, I will not answer your question.
Okay.
Now, the issue
Thank you. Yes, I mean, at least the public.
I will not. Because when you come up here and tell me that e-levy should be scrapped on the performance tracker, how do I now answer your question? Here is...
I didn't hear your question, but I don't want to hear it.
I'm saying
it's a strange question. He says that's the theatre promise. I should answer it. And I'm saying that you find the
you are on the board of the
go
National
to the
Theatre. You may have the knowledge about the building of theatres in the regions.
Yeah, I will not answer
give us
the question.
An update on it.
I will not answer it.
Okay.
Here's the... by the way, you know the tracker is a dynamic instrument. Every day, when new things are done, they will be put there. But
Nana, that is very contradictory. But remember, I asked you about the delivery tracker.
Yes.
And you said there's nothing wrong with doing a new one.
Did I mention delivery tracker right now?
No, I asked you about delivery tracker.
Yes,
why didn't we update that?
Good.
Why did we have to create another site
and then what did
for
I say?
Performance? And you said we don't really need to update it. Or
I said they are project sites.
Yes.
No? Isn't that what I said?
Yes, you said.
You didn't understand that.
I didn't understand what that project
Did you understand me when I said it is a project? And so it had served its purpose. And that websites can be created for projects. And so after a certain period, they end. Did you understand me when I said that?
So I am saying
No, please, step by step. Did you understand me when I said that?
Now, when you asked me if I understood when you said that, that is very condescending.
Because of what you're asking me. Because I'm telling you, what I just said to you is that the performance tracker, therefore I'm referring to today's tracker. I said that it is a dynamic instrument. So as and when things are being achieved, the information will be put there. You didn't hear me say that. And then you now take me to the delivery tracker, which I've told you is by your own submission is obsolete. And yet you say I should answer that.
No.
I don't understand.
No. I did not in any way made a point that it's obsolete. In fact,
you did. You said that. Why did they stop using it?
Yeah, in fact,
I confirmed that
it could have been
they stopped using it because it's a project site. One project, it's over.
So it's done with. We're done with that.
Of course, that's what I said to you. That's why I asked you. Did you understand me?
Okay.
Now I'm saying on this Mansa Musa question, for me, it's a key question. It's good he asked, but you should have clarified, and not me, because you don't invite ministers here. You invite spokespeople. You invite people you think should have insight into certain things. If in my submission I state a truth, it should not ridicule me. Unless you want to tell me that every time people come here, they should kind of lie to the public. I am not a minister. The details of a road being constructed at Techimentia is not in my hands.
In fact, the tracker directs us to the ministry.
So why should I? That's the answer Mansa Musa should be given. He should appreciate that everything put aside, I'm probably just like him. The difference is that I probably ask more questions. I go and knock on certain doors that maybe he doesn't knock on.
Have access.
You understand? Yeah, but I don't come. I'm not going to come and sit here and pretend to be a minister when I'm not. Yeah, it's not
I don't think I introduced you as a minister.
Thank you.
Well,
and if you could please give me
just
1 minute to touch on
let me just remind viewers that we'll be giving you the Islamic celebration, the Muslim Eid Mubarak celebration, as and when it starts. We're monitoring, how it's going, and we'll bring it to you. Right.
Nana made a statement when he sought to compare the Terminal 3 to free SHS.
To free SHS, okay.
And I thought that was unfortunate because, you see, Terminal 3 is a national asset. It's a strategic asset which gives the country revenue. To fund the free SHS. And so if you attempt to downplay the impact of Terminal 3.
As compared to free
That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate.
You see,
because
when you don't listen, this is the cost of
one
it.
relies on the other.
I actually uttered words that said that. These are national assets. I was very clear. What I said to you was that
things that I didn't say here. Nana, please allow me.
And tried to say that this was more important
very agitated
than the things that have been put. Because you have not seen that.
What's the point you made about those two policies?
What he said was that the tracker, the government has done nothing, and the tracker is misinforming people.
He said,
he went ahead.
The tracker had captured local government achievements, but he is looking at magnificent policies like the airport. Is that not what you said?
And yes. And when I responded, I said that things like the terminal and the gas plant are national assets. But do they touch homes like the free SHS policy, which is poo-pooing?
Okay. So,
that's what I said.
Okay, that's a clarity.
So I did not say that the Terminal 3, it would be ridiculous. I use it. I use Terminal 3.
But you said,
there are a whole bunch of other people who use but does it reach every home?
No, but you said the human resource, building of human resource
is
more valuable.
Thank you.
Okay.
And is that not true?
Okay.
Yes,
that's not
that
true.
one is a matter.
Okay, you see, that's not true. Nana,
you mean that putting up an airport is more important than getting everybody educated?
This morning, you appear to be very agitated.
Yes, because
attacking the host, attacking me.
Yes. The host was helping you propagate propaganda.
You have to respect our viewers.
But you can't be agitated by me or being
at least I'm your junior brother.
Now he's trying to create,
if I were to be
trying to create
I may have been your subject. So
he's trying to create blood relations.
I respect what you said.
He's trying to create blood relations.
The point I'm making is that Terminal 3 is a strategic national asset. And Terminal 3 feeds the country a lot of revenue. If you see the traffic in Terminal 3 and the amount of money that it gives to the Ghana Airport Company and even gives to the country Ghana, you cannot downplay its impact. And it is some of those monies that are picked from the consolidated fund and allocated to fund the free.
In fact, when Nana said that, I was thinking about the numbers, but I wasn't sure of the daily stats of Terminal 3, so I didn't want to really.
The second point that
the numbers and the traffic there, of course,
you look at the social benefits
that I think that Nana should not make in this era. You see, in the past, maybe pre-2008 or maybe 16, you could say that Akufo-Addo is a human rights lawyer, is a champion of human rights. Please. He's the worst performing government in terms of press freedom.
It doesn't expect,
worst.
We don't expect anything
in
less
2024, in fact, not too long ago, a young man who had made a post about the first family, the president and his wife, a factual statement, was picked up from his room, taken elsewhere and beaten.
Is it fact?
And beaten.
Have you heard the story?
And you say that.
Well, I know the story you're talking about, but the police denied.
Yes, but it does not.
It does not deny that they picked him up.
But the police are not saying that what the gentleman is reporting is not true. In fact, there are witnesses in the house who said that some persons came there claiming to be police officers, abducted him for almost 24 hours. If you listen to the chilling story of that gentleman, even though he appears to attack people on social media, but you cannot say that under Akufo-Addo. He's a champion of press freedom and he championed for the repeal of the criminal libel law. You can't say that today. The record speaks for itself. There are many journalists who have been attacked under President Akufo-Addo. Journalists who have fled from their homes, some who have fled from the country because of attack on press freedom. And so, please, we may have accommodated this pre-2016, not in 2024. There's no record to support that Akufo-Addo is a champion of human rights or press freedom.
And my counter to that is simple and straightforward. First of all, if we want to talk about records, you don't have a clean record.
Okay.
In fact, you have a 0% clean record. People have to fight you in order to speak.
So you want to compare your democratic
you're the one who wants to do it. I'm not interested.
Era. That's fine.
Military.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Under
fine.
NDC,
Right,
under your
and
government,
my
you were
Muslim
part
brothers
of
and
that
sisters
government.
are
Muhammad government, when
texting me.
people,
Right. So,
parliamentarians beaten in
Happy
Jubilee
Mubarak.
House.
Are we?
Hey,
are
you
they
think
in?
you've forgotten?
Nanka Bruce is there.
Okay.
Beaten in Jubilee
Nanka
House.
Okay,
Bruce.
Nana,
So I'm not interested
okay,
in this type
a
of
quick one,
conversation.
maybe before you go.
There's nothing
What is this
progressive
issue
or
with
productive
the
about it. It'll just be
with
back
the
and forth.
BVD and the laptops you are raising? You have some 35 questions. A quick
Yes,
one. We
yes.
don't have a lot of time.
I mean,
You insist that we should talk about
we are
it
very
in 1 minute.
suspicious of the Electoral Commission. And for me, it comes at a time where we are trying to build, a new rapport with the EC in terms of the relationship that existed between us and them. Our return to IPAC has been very effective.
Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
No, I'm saying that we have returned to IPAC.
No,
we
you
have
had a
attended.
meeting recently.
Yes, we called for an emergency meeting because the minority leader in Parliament had alleged that some biometric verification devices were missing or stolen from the EC. The Electoral Commission came to say that that was not true.
How did the minority leader find out?
I mean, we have because of the way our opponents are going to run this election, we are on high alert. And we have high-level intelligence at the Electoral Commission.
Do parties have...
both in government and at the Electoral Commission.
Okay, do parties have access to serial numbers of all our machines and systems we use, like the BVDs?
Unless they deploy them.
Okay,
When
you
they
only get
deploy
them
it,
upon deployment.
Yes, when they deploy, we get to know what they have deployed.
Okay.
Now, when the minority said that, the EC said that it was not true. But was it yesterday or a day before?
The day before.
When we went for the IPAC meeting, they confirmed that some BVDs, they claimed that they were destroyed in Pristia or Takwa in Swahim. And when we asked for the debris, they could not produce it. And so...
I'm hearing something else now. Because I heard it's not BVDs that are stolen, but rather laptops.
Okay, so hold on. There are two devices the EC works with. They have biometric verification devices, which we use to vote. When you go, they verify you.
Right.
And they have biometric voter registration kits, which is what they use for the registration. Now, when the minority leader said that biometric verification devices were missing, they said no, it is rather some laptops which were missing. Now, when they say laptops, they are referring to one component of the voter registration kit.
Devices.
When you go and they are registering you, they use the laptop to make the entries.
Okay.
It is one of the kits. Without it, the registration kit is not complete. I hope you get it. And that's the source of the entry.
Okay.
Before they now, if it's online, it goes direct. If it's offline, they copy it on pen drive and go to their district offices and upload it. Now, they said that no biometric device were missing. At the meeting, they now considered that some biometric devices are missing. And they have also, they also agree with us that some components of the registration kits are also missing. And we are asking questions that these are equipment of the EC. They are like the military and the army. You can't say that some guns or ammunition at the barracks are missing, and we cannot tell how they got missing.
But they won't affect.
Nobody has been arrested. It won't affect because there were not bullets in it.
Okay.
Can you imagine that? That there were no bullets in the ammunition that are missing, and so nobody would die because we have the ammunition here.
Safe.
You can't tell us those stories. So we want to know that there are CCTV cameras at the EC. These things, they keep record of them. In fact, when they release them, anybody who is transporting it must sign and take records of every item that is being taken from there. So we want to know whether they made a police report, what's the progress of the investigations, what is the CCTV cameras telling us, because we believe that the things, even though they are missing, they are in the hands of some people. They want to use it for some diabolic affairs. They have told us, the MPP have told us that they won't win this election based on their performance. They are going to win based on strategy. And if you tell us...
The NPP has also said that they won't win election based on EC rigging in their favor. They
must not say that explicitly.
They will win
when they tell us that they won't hand over.
Not monitor your votes.
Then they tell us that they won't hand over. We know what they want to do.
You're going to spend your minutes talking about this.
We know what they want to do.
Tell me that I can't say anything.
So, Nana, please. We know what they want to do. So our intelligence are at the peak. We get to know everything that is going on, the recruitment and how they want to skew the recruitment to put in politically tainted persons and all that. We know everything that is going on. So we want to move a step further to find a way of auditing the IT system of the EC, so that all of us can have trust in that system. And this will not be a novelty. In 2012, the NPP requested for an audit in the system that the EC was going to use, and it was granted. So if you have nothing to hide, if you know how to do your job, you don't fear the white man. So allow, open it, let us investigate the system and know that everything is right.
All right.
We have other things coming up. I don't have the mandate
to speak on
those issues. So, but a lot of issues going on at the EC. We know exactly whatever they are doing, how they are conniving with our opponents to steal the elections. We know everything. And as the days unfold, we'll come up with all of these issues.
The EC is conniving with your opponents.
You notice a lot of them. We'll bring empirical evidence. When we said that biometric devices were missing, they said it is not true. They went to IPAC and confirmed it. When we said that biometric voter registration kits are missing, they said it is not true. They are laptops, as if these were laptops for kids to play. They are laptops that they use for registration. And so somebody can be sitting in his room, making entries.
No, they've clarified that after elections, the laptops are put to sleep, which means that all data that were uploaded on the laptops are deleted.
So what happens to the new data the person will put on it?
I'm not sure if after you steal it, you can still link to the network.
But after deactivating it, don't they reactivate for the laptops to work? We are going to start registration on 7th of next month.
But do they do mass reactivation? And if your laptop, you have your serial numbers of the laptop, and you know that this and this and this have been stolen, you definitely will have to remove them from the list of serial numbers you are activating.
Who will remove them?
The IT team of the Electoral Commission.
Yes, that's the point we are making.
Maybe led by...
So if you, the one who is in charge of the system, assuming, has given the laptops to somebody else to do something bad, and you come to tell us that, oh, I have deactivated it, so the person cannot enter the system. How do we trust you?
Okay. So it's not just a word of mouth, Nana.
Exactly. His last statement shows how ridiculous this whole thing is. It's totally ridiculous. You've assumed everything on the negative because that's how your mind works. How can we live like that in Ghana? Because you don't have anything to say about the real growth and development policies on the ground, you're skewing your eye onto the EC. Isn't it interesting that when we hear from the chairman of the NDC, is an attack on the EC? He doesn't talk about policies. It's an attack on the EC. All of this thing, now NDC has become a CID. They go back to IPAC, and instead of raising the issues there, they want to come and raise it in the public so that it does what? Create a certain impression.
We raised it at IPAC.
Instead of dealing with the EC at the IPAC. These questions, it's at IPAC that you ask, what the EC asks. What are you putting it in public for? Why? What do you want an Africa? Again, I'm not an EC guy. So am I going to be able to answer these questions? Why do you put it in the public? It's because you want to create a negative impression about the EC because of a weakness on the ground as a party seeking power. That is why they are doing what they are doing. What is she gave you 6 minutes. What information again?
I am telling you,
she gave you 6 minutes. All you did was that all you are doing is that you are trying to create an impression for the public to have a negative feeling and think about the EC.
When we have raised it,
the real issue is that these are questions you ask the EC. You don't come and ask me on an Afridia. You go to the EC. When they come and ask you, what are you going to say? All you're going to think is, hey, the EC, they are bad. And that's the impression they are trying to create. That's all they are interested in. So that now when they've lost the election, they'll say the EC stole it and that they connived with NPP. I mean, what a ridiculous proposition. Are they really thinking about how Ghana should go? Really, that's the question. Because this is not a mature approach to dealing with. After how many years?
What's the mature approach when you know
Deal
that
with
devices...
the EC.
Hold on. Devices have been missing. You complain about it, that devices have been missing.
And
the EC comes out to
Yeah.
deny
Right.
that it is not true.
Right.
Only for you to go to IPAC and then the EC confirms that it was missing at some constituency at some point.
But
and could not even... It was destroyed, not even missing. It was destroyed.
Good.
But could not even provide, when machines are destroyed, you should have the pieces of it together or something.
You see... I mean, I see things differently. So this is a question I would respond based on my thoughts, personal. EC is not obliged. EC is not obliged. It's not written anywhere in any of their mandates that they must provide that information.
Which information? That something is missing?
Yes. When they do, it's out of courtesy. So when they accept, they tell you that it is not missing, but it was damaged. Is it missing? And because they didn't show you a piece, therefore it was missing. I mean, how ridiculous can we be? The maturity is, you go there, they've asked you, if you have proof that it's missing, and you put it to them, and they deny it, I think the public deserves to know. And you have every right to put it out here. But these questions, status of missing kids, have the missing registration kits been located? Is Mansa Musa going to be able to answer this question? So why are you asking? Why are you putting it to the public? It's because you want to destroy the image of the
EC.
you refusing to accept that?
To IPAC.
Yes.
These are questions.
So why should it come into the public domain?
Dr. Omani Boama spent time to ask all these questions.
Unless you want the public to feel that they should have a certain thinking about, and that feeds into their incompetence. On matters of governance, and they would rather zero in on easy Chaskele type of games.
Nana, thank you. Thank you.
This Chaskele politics.
Let's take a breather. Am I having trends coming up? Let me know.
I think that's a term I should start using on the Chaskele politics.
Can we have a minute to wish our Muslim brothers? Oh, Nana.
Wish them.
Nana, why?
Because you are very dangerous.
Oh, don't worry. Please wish them. Yes. Muslim
Lawyer Kakri, someone has a message for you.
Oh, my brother. Now talk about brothers. That's my brother.
So we want to wish our Muslim brothers a happy Eid. We pray that Allah accepts all the prayers and the fasting that they have done for a period of 1 month. And we wish them well as they celebrate today. And we also want to caution the Zongo youth and the Muslim youth. In occasion like this, they have a street carnival, what they call the Gangara.
Oh, okay.
And many times, because of the joy and the nature of the street carnival, it sometimes results in accidents and all that. We want to appeal to the young people to celebrate. They should be measured in their celebration.
Right.
And we also want to assure them that former President Mahama has promised that he's going to review the Holidays Act and add on additional holiday for the Eid al-Fitr
politicization
and the Eid al-Adha. You notice that sometimes, because of the different sects, the fasting, some people have to fast 29 days, some fast 30 days because of the sighting of the moon. And so some people did the prayer, their national or the festival prayers yesterday, and the national imam is doing today. So because of that, it affects the holiday allocated to them.
So some actually started yesterday.
So President Mahama is saying that we are not going to add on new holidays, but we'll review the Holidays Act. There are many unnecessary holidays this government has introduced. We can turn one of them into a Muslim holiday for them so that they are able to celebrate
to bank the holidays. Because sometimes where they are or where they come up within the week or the working week, it distorts.
Exactly. So if we have 2 holidays for it, they will have enough time to prepare for their prayers and for the celebration as well. So the NDC mean well for you. The Quran says that the one who loves the religion is the one who is your brother.
The one who loves the religion.
Yes. Is the one who is your brother. The one who thinks about the holy
Have you been a Muslim before?
pilgrimage. The pilgrimage to Mecca.
Why don't you want to answer my question?
Everything. No, I'm not. I'm a Christian.
Okay.
I'm a Christian. So what I'm saying is that if somebody loves you, loves your religion, that's what the Quran says. I'm not inventing it.
Okay.
That's the person that you look up to.
Okay.
So if somebody thinks about how to make your worship and your religion comfortable for you, that's the person you look up to.
And Mansa Musa likes you a lot.
I like him too.
He says he wants your contact, but he says that, is Nana saying that the EC is not obliged to be transparent and truthful to Ghanaians?
Very obliged.
I want his contacts.
Very obliged. And if Mansa Musa listened carefully, I didn't deny that. What I said.
Then you don't say that they don't have an obligation.
They are not obligated.
They have.
Transparency does not mean
no. They have. They have a constitutional responsibility and duty to be transparent and accountable to the Ghanaians. So if we buy BVDs and they are destroyed, come out and tell us. Don't wait for a political party
and then show the broken pieces.
No.
And stop being ridiculous.
No, I didn't.
That is what I said. That's what he's challenging. And I'm telling you that. So they are not obliged to show them.
Take your time.
They are obliged. As for me, I should take time. When you've got an issue like this, I should take my time. Suddenly you are playing on my emotions. I should take my time. What are you talking about?
After election activities, when you've had a problem with
and you think you know this better than I do?
No.
So I'm telling you that they are obliged to be transparent. But are you trying to tell me that when the machine breaks, they can't put the parts in front of you?
No, that's not what
the evidence
said.
that the machine is broken?
It is the basis for my saying they were not obligated. So why are you now raising this?
After every election, Electoral Commission probably will give us they will give us the results of the election, number one.
Where have I contradicted myself on that?
And then if something has gone wrong, they will tell the people of Ghana.
So what are you raising to me?
We have never been told that some machines have been destroyed.
I'm sorry. You are saying that they are not okay. We have time to go. Okay.
You see, you've taken my time away for
because
it's a strange thing you're saying.
Mansa Musa's my question.
What question were you asking me? When I made the statement about the EC being...
Okay, so our brothers are on the screen, but we'll go to them now.
What I said about the obligation was to do this funny thing that he said about the issue.
Oh, they're just giving us sound. Okay, now
so, let me go to the thing. Here's the story. One, this turning religion into politics is a very bad omen for Ghana. I plead with Muslim brothers and Christian brothers.
Okay.
Do not allow your religion to be politicized. And that's what Mr. Mahama and the NDC are doing. On the matter of well wishes, let me remove some bad news first. A gentleman worked here, Stefan Lekuson. He's a sportscaster. He's a known sportscaster, of course. He lost his mother. We're burying her next week. Happens to be my sister, so I'm taking advantage to say that, and because it's his station is why I normally don't like to do personal things, but he used to work here. And I think those who know him would probably want to sympathize with him. Now, as far as the Muslim thing, again, I want to repeat that we thank them because in doing all the fasting, they prayed for all of us. I know that for a fact.
Right.
And so we thank them and wish them well.
Right.
And they should enjoy themselves.
We're going to join them and enjoy themselves ourselves. Anyway, so let's cross over to our Muslim brothers and sisters. You see that the occasion has already started. We've seen the chief imam in the scene. So let's go on and enjoy the Eid Mubarak prayers.